so rather than the exam being out there for like 8 days, and I wasn't really that comfortable just adding another 3 days onto that and just having this exam floating around, you're going to get it on Sunday or Monday morning at 8 a.m. Okay, so we're clear about that. Is there anybody that would be a conflict for? I've already heard from some other folks who I think this accounts for their conflicts. But if you could write me after class, if there's for any reason that, other than, that means you're going to have to do it within a three-day period, right? If there's any reason there's a conflict, please write me about that as soon as you can. But I've heard from so many other folks that I specifically chose that period because it takes it out of all the conflicts I've heard of.
If there's a conflict, would you consider posting it a little early, maybe Saturday morning?
Nope. Next question.
That was similar to those exams.
What did you say?
I just had exams over that week, and it was the same question.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, unless you're not physically going to be connected or something like that, frankly, we need to get to the other side, right? We need to get past the philosophy so we can start talking more about business. Okay, so that's a change there. I've actually given you an extra hour on this. So the exam will be, you got 4 contiguous hours, right? You can't talk amongst yourselves, but you do have open notes, right? Notes, not Wikipedia, not online philosophical resources, stuff like that. Your own notes, things that you've generated. Obviously, you'll say put the honor pledge on there that you've done all the work. But I'm giving you 4 hours when I usually do 3. So today, I think I already sent out the handout. What did you say? Yeah, it's definitely open book. You need, because you're going to need to cite the text. Here, I've got like 15 of these things, so I'll send a few this way. But I sent the handout online, so it's already sitting in your mailbox. So I want to go over reviewing this. Let me make something clear. Hold on a second. Let me make something clear. 2 things. One, this exam is really about you showing me that you read the text. Obviously, I've got a good sense of that based on our classroom conversations on a general basis and on an individual basis. This is, so for some people, this will just be confirmation that they're doing the work. If you haven't been particularly vocal, this is definitely your opportunity to show me that I've been there with you the whole time. Right, but let's be clear, this exam is happening in this class, not in another class. So don't bore me with the stuff you learned in another class. Don't bore me with things like that aren't grounded in the text. And I'm sure you've seen my sensitivity about that as we've gone along the way. I want to know, I want your exam to be a reflection of the conversations we actually had in this class. And based on the text that we actually have in this class. And the reason why I'm saying this is because as far as class participation goes, there's been a proclivity on behalf of a few of you to talk about things that aren't related. And I just want to be very clear that now that this exam is totally an individual deal, I want everybody to be clear what I'm looking for. I'm not asking any trick questions. There'll be questions that will ask you specifically about the kind of the major concepts that we're going to go over today. Specifically, where in the text was it? What was the conversation about at that time? And what was Plato's point? And what was Socrates' point in bringing this out? Right? I mean, that's textual-based stuff. Then there will also be questions like, and what did you think about it? I remember when I started the class at one time saying, would you, based on Socrates' answer in the Apology, would you have drank the hemlock? Right? That's a question of the second sort. Of course, it demands that you understand what Socrates' argument is. Right? So don't just lean back and say, oh, no. It's in the text. Okay? It's in the text. There's nothing tricky. This is for you to show me that you know what the argument in the Apology actually is. And then give me your opinion on it. What do you think? Make some sort of judgment about that. So there will be those 2 types of questions. There will probably only be, I would say, between like 7 to 10 questions. So once again, you'll have plenty of time. I mean, I really think that this is probably going to be a 2-hour exam that I'm giving you 4 hours to do. Okay? So I'm not trying to make this a test of how fast you can spit out a ton of information. I had somebody a couple years ago write me a 23-page exam in 3 hours. I mean, he did well. But I told him, I'm like, this is totally not, in fact, what I was looking for. Right? So it's just overachieving on levels that I wasn't prepared to deal with. Yeah. Upload on the Colab. Yeah. And I like that 2 things. One, obviously there's a timestamp on it. Please do not turn this exam in late. Just don't do it. Okay. Just as a warning, and if you've used Colab, you know this. If it's due at 11:59, and you start trying to upload it at 11:55, you know what? There's 20 other people that are going to be uploading it at that moment, and you might get the timestamp that says 12:01. And then you're going to send me this email like the technology wasn't working right. Oh, it was working right. You just waited too late. And said that email ain't going to save you. Okay, so be thoughtful about this. Don't wait until the last second to try to upload your exam when odds are there's a bunch of other people out there that unfortunately are going to be doing that too. And you could be the one that ends up losing a grade for technological reasons, okay? So I'm saying this, I'm on tape saying this, okay? Don't be that person. You will definitely lose that grade.
And do the 4 hours begin as soon as you download it, or?
No. So you can, for example, if you wanted to, my concern was that people would need to download it would need to download it and take it, to have it on their hard drive and then take their laptop with them and, do it whenever. And ostensibly you can still do that. It starts when you open the exam. Okay? So even if you download it and then you want to go to your special place, which might not have wireless or whatever, to do the exam, it starts when you open the exam. The idea here is that you don't open the exam, get a look at what I'm asking, then close the exam, then go and spend 8 hours looking up all the quotes and all the different stuff, and then come back and say, okay, I'm going to start my 4 hours now. That would be what we call an honor violation. All right. Once again, the questions aren't going to be surprising. And here in the next 3 minutes, I want to turn towards the actual content of what we study. The questions won't be a surprise. Just don't try to fake me out here. There will be video. There will be a video up on this. There's a video up, obviously, of my lecture on Plato's, or our conversation about the allegory of the cave. Just as a warning, I know every email address of everybody who's visited those videos and the timestamp of when they did. So, just as a warning, don't open up the video during your 4 contiguous hours and think that you're going to just take notes off of it as a part of your exam. That's going to end up being an honor violation. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just warning you in advance so that nobody tries to outsmart the social media professor. Okay. Say, did you have a question?
No, it was asked.
Okay, all right. Anybody else have just questions on general format here? 4 hours. All right. And of course, all these instructions are going to be with the assignment when you pull it down too. So once again, I'm not trying to trick anybody out. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody. I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing what you guys write. I get a sense that there's a lot of knowledge in this room. Speaking of which, let's actually turn towards the handout here. So I actually did a graphic here which I normally would have done on a chalkboard, but obviously don't have one, on the Platonic homologies. Right? Homology is the same logic, so that it's 3 levels, and there's the same logic happening on each one of those levels. Right? We've kind of talked with this, but we haven't laid it out graphically, so you guys see it up there. Anybody want to talk us through what this soul, polis, or state and virtue? Anybody want to talk us through that? You want to give a shot? Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess instead of saying the strategy in the Republic is based on the city soul analogy. You see on the left side the city, you see on the left side the soul, in the middle you see the polis of the state. And Plato has a theory of the tripartite soul, which we talked about, the rational, spiritual, and appetitive parts of the soul. And he says that those each correspond to a part of his ideal city, the Philippians. And the rational part of the soul corresponds to the philosopher king, the spiritual corresponds to the guardians, and the appetitive corresponds to the producers. And these are actually, in the ideal city, these are people who are completely governed by this part of their soul, because clearly we talk about the philosopher kings are, while they are the rational part of the city, they also embody the other parts of the part of their soul.
Good.
There's a primary virtue that corresponds to each of those as well. And this comes up in the discussion of what each part of the soul seeks as its primary good. And Plato eventually makes the argument that the rational part of this, that the philosophers seek knowledge, and that somehow, and that this virtue, or that they seek wisdom, and that this virtue is the virtue of wisdom is actually higher than the other two, which is actually why he makes the argument that is the highest part of the city as well. And then honor is what someone who is governed by the spirit part of their soul seeks. And money is what someone who is governed by the petty part of their soul seeks.
So we got the tripartite soul, which maps onto the three different classes in the state. And each one of those classes, at its best, exhibits a particular excellence. We're calling virtue here. And so how does this then, Kevin, you're doing a great job. So how does this map onto the justice as harmony argument? Ultimately, this schema, right, is the graphical basis for justice as harmony. How does this represent that?
So Plato reiterates again and again that it's not for the happiness of any individual group. So the justice as harmony kind of shows how each group can be excellent in its own role. So looking at the virtue on the right side, you see the group in the middle exhibiting that virtue. Corresponds to a harmonious city that, so I guess exhibiting excellence within the class is the virtue that he's talking about, and then that leads to a harmonious city, which will be, I don't know if this is going, I don't know if
I mean, you're right on top of it. Go ahead.
Well, I would say they all work best when they all work together, and for each soul, the whole estate and virtue.
And that's the harmony part here, right? Is everything in its proper place, and how all of that works together in the social and political context.
analogies to music. Great illustration.
Go ahead.
And then sort of looking more closely at how this works within a person, when each part of the person's soul is harmonious with the other parts, then the happiness of the whole person is maximized.
And if you got a bunch of happy people doing what they're supposed to do, then there's the social benefit of all that too. Any questions or comments about this right now?
I'm just confused as to where balance fits in for, especially like the philosopher kings.
Where do you think?
Well, I used to think like their main strength is that they were balanced, but I guess they were a little more rational. Or are they rational because they're balanced?
Who wants to answer?
I was a little confused at first because we thought of balance as having the three equal parts, but really it's more about having them in the right proportion, maybe wisdom playing a little bit stronger role.
And of course, there's a wisdom that the philosopher kings can bring.